What's up? My name is Jesse and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a book review over Shoe Dog, a memoir by the creator of Nike by Phil Knight. So I'm going to try to make this simple. So first of all, I'm going to start off with a brief summary. So just give you the summary of the book. I'm going to give you my evaluation, so pretty much some of the highlights from the book, so some of the things I read from the book, and sort of Phil Knight's writing style. Also, towards the end, I'm going to give you my recommendations. Who do I recommend this book to? And also my rating of this book. So what are my ratings from 1 to 10, which I'll share during the video. So a brief summary. So again, it's Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, which came out in 2016. So yes, it's a couple of years old. Phil takes us behind the scenes of the rise of Nike, so all the way from the beginning, and of course some of the highlights of Nike. All right, Phil had a passion for sports and did not see himself having a regular job. So right after college, he did have a couple of daytime jobs, which he did not like, and quickly he found himself started selling Japanese shoes for the first time. All right, after a few years, he quickly realized that his team had the potential to create their own sports shoe company. So in the book, Phil does a great job of really letting the reader know about his struggles and triumphs and how Nike became a global sports brand. So for many years, they struggled with manufacturers, they struggled with shoe factories, legal issues, and cash flow issues, which again is all described in the book. There was always a constant fear of Nike collapsing at any time, which was always on the back of Phil Knight's mind. He does a great job of really letting you know that, at any time he thinks that Nike's not gonna make it, which again is a great book to read on that. So you also got to keep in mind that during this time, which when he first started building Nike was during the 1960s, around the 1970s, and the two constant competitors for Nike at the time were Converse and Adidas, which of course had the upper hand in sports brand because they were already in the game for many years. But when Nike stepped in, they became one of the biggest innovators and global icons for sports shoes, and of course later on apparel. We see athletes like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Tiger Woods represent the brand of Nike and really represented the Nike culture and changed the brand forever. All right, so now the evaluation of the book. So let's closely evaluate the book. So at the beginning, there is a quote by Warren Buffett. So if you read here at the top, so he said, "The best book I read last year. Phil is a gifted storyteller." All right, so that's actually true, guys. So that's probably one of the best skills, besides him selling and becoming the co-founder of Nike. Phil Knight's a great storyteller. He does a good job of really building that suspense in the book. So he really has the reader engaged throughout the whole book, and of course wanting you to read a little bit more. So he builds up that suspense for you to keep on reading and keep on reading. Also describing empathy. So he does a good job of really bringing the reader close to him and really feeling the emotions he's going through, especially during his vulnerable stages. And of course, actively making the reader giggle. So at times I found myself giggling because he did crack a few jokes, not only by himself, but about his team. So it was pretty funny. He vividly described his emotions and actions to the reader, which was also a good part in the book, especially during his major decision making. So he really describes how he felt the day of a major decision, which really captivated the reader and really understand what this early entrepreneur was going through. He also frequently mentioned that it was not just him that built Nike, but there was a team behind him. Of course, Nike is a brand, and without these individuals alongside of him wouldn't be the brand it is today. He does mention the other co-founder, which his former track coach, Bowerman Johnson, which he became one of the first employees, which he mentions a lot at the beginning of the book, which again is pretty funny because those of you that read the book, Johnson is frequently in the book, and he became one of the assets of where Nike it is today. And of course, the lawyers that played a part of his team. Phil's writing style was very unique throughout the whole book. I felt like Phil now was telling his story if I was one of his good friends. All right, one of my favorite quotes from the book is from page 124. He said, "I wanted to build something that was my own, something I could point to and say, I made that. It was the only way I saw to make life meaningful." And I really like that quote, guys, because you know it's something that I desire to do, which I believe that one day I will do that. Something I build, something I want to build and make and say that I built that, which I really highlighted it. So I'll show you here in the screen. I highlighted it, and again, it's one of my favorite quotes that he mentions in the book, along with others. Also, another one. It's very short, so he mentions, and I did not write the page number. So another quote is, "Life is growth. You either grow or you die," which is something that we all need to take in. You know, as we're growing, you know, we're growing in each stages of our life, and you have two choices. Either you could continue to grow, continue to be better, or you die. You know, you stay close-minded and you don't try to reach out and try to really push yourself. All right. Also, the book left me with a roller coaster of emotions. One in particular stood out. So in the book, I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want to spoil the book. But he did mention the death of his older son. So that I felt all types of emotions. I don't have any children yet, but I only can imagine what he was going through. So in the book, he describes his emotions or what he was going throughout the day. He paints a picture of what he was doing that day. Again, I don't want to spoil it, but he paints the picture of what he was going through. And then once he received the news, you know, he felt like it was pretty much his fault, and you know, he wished he could have been there more. But he believed that his son was happy, and of course died and enjoyed what he enjoyed doing. So again, if you want to read more about what actually happened to his son, you can do a quick Google search, or the best thing to do is to read the book. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into my recommendation. All right, now my recommendation. So I would recommend this book to anybody that just wants to know the history of Nike. But the main groups of individuals I would recommend this book to is any aspiring entrepreneur, anybody that wants to be an entrepreneur in the future, or is working their way up to be an entrepreneur. This would be a fantastic book for you to read. Also, any startup businesses out there, I would recommend for you to read Shoe Dog, especially those that want to create a brand and of course making a meaningful impact in any industry. This would be the book for you. Also, if you just enjoy reading biographies like I do, this is probably my, I want to say, third biography, maybe third or fourth, but all in all, this is probably the best biography I read in a long time. So those of you that just want to add to your collections of biographies, this would be a fantastic book to read as well. Now, my ratings for the book, again, I'm new to rating any books, but for me and what I read, I would say a 10 out of 10. Only because I read it twice. So my goal is the books that I have is try to read it at least twice again. So the first time I read this was back in, I think 2020 or 2021. Not sure the year. That's when I first started picking up reading. Shoe Dog was probably one of the first books I read, and of course now just finished it again. And this time I took a closer look, took meaningful notes, highlighted, really internalized what Phil was really expressing in the book. Of course, his brilliant writing and storytelling style. But again, this time I really try to connect with the book, try to really go in more in depth of what he was really trying to tell us in the book, and of course some of his wisdom that he was providing. All right, so the book, it is a bit long, as you can see. It has over, let's see, close to 400 pages. Yeah, about close to 400 pages, like 380. But again, it's worth the read. It keeps you entertained, keeps you really engaged in the book. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Again, I really enjoy the book. It's a fantastic book for you to read, especially if you are in the beginning stages of your entrepreneur journey. So that is it, guys. So if you want to share your favorite bios at the bottom, please do so. Any recommendations you recommend for me to read, and also what do you think about the book Shoe Dog? Some of your takes from the book, something that I missed, go ahead and put it at the comment section below. Again, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See y'all soon.